Stand for flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with justice.
Transportation contracts, but there were some changes. Any questions? If I could get a motion to approve the consent agenda,
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to our guest comment section. Members of the public are encouraged to comment during this time regarding items not listed on the agenda. The chair will seek public comments on agenda items as they occur. By law, the board cannot take action on matters discussed during the public comment portion of the meeting, but may include a matter raised during this time on a future agenda. Board would like to remind everyone to avoid commenting on private personnel matters, private student matters, and pending legal matters. We have any guests? Moving on, action item A, out of district student attendance agreement.
We have 3 agreements. 2 are from Kyla to another district. And then we have 2 kiddos that turned in theirs to Kyla. After these are approved, or if the board approves these, then we can accept no more until starting the June and the new policies that have all been set in.
Does anyone want to see the out of district attendance students? What could be happening? We have grades 6, 4, and kindergarten.
I thought we didn't have urban kinder.
It's going to another school.
Oh, that one's going to another school.
Going to another.
So we're gonna get 7.
No kids are coming here. So both sides of boards at both schools have to, the ones that are from Kyla going somewhere else, all you do is acknowledge them, and their agendas are gonna start reflecting that. It'll be in the consent part, where you just acknowledge, yes, we have Kyla's residents going to another district. And then the action items will be anybody coming to Kyla, and that will be in September and February.
What grade is coming here?
6 and 4.
How does that put our numbers up in those 2 classes? Let me double check it. Those 4th grade will be at 24. And then 6th grade will be at 22. You can take it to 3rd in 6th grade. What about 4th grade? That's the 4th grade. 20.
If I could get a motion to accept the out of district student attendance agreements.
I will make a motion to accept the out of district attendance agreements.
I'll second it.
Oh.
All of these.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to the MSUIP multi-district agreement, which is the unemployment insurance.
That's our unemployment insurance. Apparently they went through their books and discovered that the last one they had was over 30 years old. So they needed to do another one. So, they said that the clerk is supposed to sign it, but I'm not signing anything without board approval, so that's why it's on the agenda.
It was quite a lengthy agreement in your board of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Page, are we going to do? And this will be vacuum signed and it's approved. It made more sense once I have it even pages, so.
I know, I'm so glad that my scanner only did every other page.
It was fine.
And reminded about it, so I can put that again.
Any questions about that unemployment insurance multi-district agreement? Motion to approve the MSUIP multi-district agreement for 2024 through 2027.
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Moving on to the strategic action plan.
So we continued updating that and working on it just based on feedback from accreditation last year. There wasn't really much that we needed to, but what I was doing was also comparing it to other schools to see if there were any additional things we could add. And then the major part that we've been working on is our learner profile, which is due to the whole state of Montana. And we were done in our staff meeting, and then also we have a strategic this week actually, and we have a prototype, but we're not in front of that yet. We need to tweak a few things.
And then didn't we also tweak it a little bit for the enrollment of acceptance?
So page, yes, page 42 of your report. Where it begins, it has got Iowa School District 20, and then it talks about prioritizing non-resident applications. That was a follow-up from our previous board meeting.
So it's the exact same language, it appears.
Yep, so all we did was we moved applications from children of district employees to number 3.
Yep.
Yep. Any questions on our strategic action plan? Any comments on our strategic action plan? It's kind of in progress. Yeah. Motion to approve our current draft of our strategic action.
Yeah, I
plan.
would say it's fine.
As a draft,
As a draft.
there was a distinction that actually, but
I think we should probably bring it back before the board, either at our January or February meeting, because we have to, all of our accreditation stuff has to be submitted by February 28th this year.
So should we just table it instead of approving a draft, since we don't really know what draft it is?
still working. Either that or first reading, with the second reading, but there's gonna be edits, and we go first reading, so we're gonna go first, second again.
Yeah. As long as everyone's had a chance to look at the wording on page 42, we can just table it. Motion to table.
Motion table.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, now we're getting on to policy 3141.
So 3141, just now that is the strategic draft about priority of applications of out of district. It's in highlighted in yellow. What's the change?
Page 46 of your board packet. The highlighted portion. This priority may include. So that wording now aligns with the draft of the strategic action. I think we're gonna look, since these are all lumped together, we're gonna motion all at the same time.
And then 4330, instead of just having facilities, it was also added and grounds. Oh, and then the P part, this is the agreement use. Anything that was highlighted has a strike through it because they're talking about people that rent it would have to wax it. And then there were certain time restrictions on that. And then we added a cleaning maintenance list will be provided. And then on 4330 F, on the back page, we put an assumption of risk, we changed that.
And on that 4330 F, the first page, it still says, will there be an admission fee question?
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, so that needs to be updated because we did state the dollar amounts on 4330 P number 3.
Okay.
Any questions about those policies?
Yep.
So for this rental agreement, if we're talking about doing like an open gym for the basketball kids, is this still going to be something that the person who's requesting the gym for the open gym is gonna have to get liability insurance and then reserve it and go that route, or how's that going to work? Since we've updated this.
Yeah, we'll have to check in the legal on that, because usually like, even like if it's not a school sponsored event, and I think we do.
That's what I was told when I
Yes.
asked to rent it for volleyball.
Yeah,
Come on, I had to have an open gym with a travel team and.
If the travel team is one thing, but our own school kids.
our own school could, if it's school sponsored, then no, there's no.
But if it's not school sponsored, because sometimes like over Thanksgiving, the parents will rent the gym for our basketball players.
There's,
During volleyball.
we'll have to look into that, because it was my understanding if you're renting it for personal use, then there's a fee. So. What? Not for staff, though, including staff. That's,
In the past, like Sean Keller just had a key,
he was part of,
the board.
no, that had something to do with the board. He had to do, I think it was school, it had to do with the boys basketball or something.
He wasn't the coach.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, Liz took care of all that stuff, so, and like I know with the Sheriff's Association too. So we'll have to probably change some of our past practices.
Well, let's just try to get clarification because what we're trying to do is make it easier for people. We want use to be easy. We want that more, like, please come and use our facilities,
Right.
kind of, we're trying to not. So even if we get pushback, let's say, I mean, what simple things can we do so that if you have the current volleyball team or basketball team, if we have a staff member present, does that change it? Let's try to see what we can do to make it easier.
You betcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause I think,
I feel like that this is limiting it further, because. Than what we had before.
Yeah, you're trying to make it easier by putting like grounds, like, please come and use the grounds, not just.
especially since this is a community house.
But on the flip side. Please use our grounds, but before you didn't have to ask us and it was free, and now you have to have liability insurance and you have to pay a fee.
Well, no, previously we had to say no to these,
After,
because they tried it at, not garage sale, yard sale, and we said no because the insurance wouldn't allow it, so we're trying to make sure that it will be allowed.
how is there any difference from the 4x4 groups that park here and drive their little vehicles all over, and how is that any different?
Yes, I don't, have they ever asked permission to just?
No.
They do. They call us for permission to use the,
So we allow them to use school grounds.
the parking lot, but there's an easement on that parking lot.
Public easement.
Yes, because we checked into that. We had, the lawyers actually looked at the Google Maps and, because we had asked about
Can't
parking.
stop it.
So someone could have a yard sale on the parking.
Probably along that easement part.
I don't know if the garage sale would fall under like normal use of a. You know, somebody parking there is within like normal use where a garage sale is not normal use for an easement. So maybe, I think it would get legally subtle.
Thing too is the people that park there for like the 4x4s, they don't need the facilities for bathrooms and stuff, where I think if you set up for a garage sale, I guess they could walk down the bike path and use that.
Is the liability insurance only required if you're doing a public event? For like, if somebody wanted to rent the gym to do the bazaar. But if you were renting it to have your family Thanksgiving here and you were going to have 75 of your family members, you're still gonna be required to have liability insurance to cover it?
I believe so.
I think we need to look into that a little bit more. I don't know.
Oh, I totally agree. Because I think if it's anything student community related, it should be free. But if it's for personal use, then yeah, then the fee would go in because you still gotta pay for the lights and the electricity and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Well, so I think what I can do is gather other policies from other districts and see how they handle their rentals.
Change, this is now. Because I've already rented it,
This is only the first reading, it would take 2 readings.
I do have a question on the 4330 app. You said that, will there be an admission fee? I think they're asking like if you're having a party here, are you charging $5 a person to get in? So I do think that needs to stay there.
Thank you, Ross.
I didn't read it that way, but I think that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. And is there any way that we could, as a district? I mean, I know I don't know enough about liability insurance, but could we just have a liability umbrella?
Under ours,
Mhm.
see what the cost will be.
I mean, it's one of those things that's a couple $100 for us as a district to do it, to offer to the public. I think that's pretty justifiable, but if it's $3,000, then maybe not, but
Yeah, definitely, I'll look into it, 'cause I think that'd be just a blanket insurance.
Yeah.
Would it use get
But-
back?
The only problem is if somebody got hurt,
right.
if somebody got hurt, it's falling under our insurance, or then we're responsible for all medical. Mhm.
I think we should see how other schools are doing it.
Yeah,
I do know that when we rent the gym for travel ball and we're playing like at Edgerton or any of that, we do have to sign a release that we won't hold them liable, but we don't carry our own insurance.
I'll
So
look into that
we
and
might
see
not be
if
able to
there's-
do something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And see if that actually holds up, because I feel like sometimes when you fill out those things, it doesn't really matter.
They can still come back on you.
Breaks their arm on your trampoline at your house, parents were, it's still your house, their insurance is gonna come after your homeowners, because it's at your house.
Get the
So you
same
can
number
even
of their insurance first.
Get waiver, yeah.
So the only changes we've really made to like 4330 P are that, we could just got rid of the premises will not be available until after 5. You do not have to give us a 10-day heads up, and you don't have to wax the floor. So we didn't change anything regarding insurance language. We didn't add or change anything regarding insurance language.
So the 3141 is for that information? Or
So 3141 is just, out of district enrollment. 4330, we added and grounds. Four, three, three, zero, we basically just got rid of prohibited language. And so it's 4330 F that has the assignment. We can, they're all lumped together so we can accept them or people them all, right? Pull one out.
Well, what you can do a motion to accept the 3 with no F to revisit F.
remember this is a first reading too, so we can always reject it the second reading based on what we learned, just procedurally.
Yeah, to get the first reading.
Do I have any motion to accept the first reading of those policies?
I'll make a motion to accept the first reading of policy 3141, 4330, 4330 P, and 4330 F.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to policy 1700. I believe this is on page 57 of the board packet. Policy 1700 is our uniform complaint procedure. It used to list level 1 would be an informal resolution for the complaint, level 2 can be admin. Level 3 was the county superintendent. And level 4 was the board. We'd like to know if that was all approved by NTSBA and the previous county superintendent. However, yeah, this county superintendent kind of disagreed with that, and MTSBA said level 3 should now be the board. And you should not have to approach the county superintendent for conflict resolution. So the policy committee met and accepted that change.
Well, just having done some of these, that seems like that was a really important and helpful resource for us.
Yeah, it was that change was intentional to create that extra level of review.
Yeah,
This county superintendent feels that he has no authority in the
Hey.
level.
don't really care. I feel like that's a.
I say, is he not willing to?
He feels that he doesn't have the authority to, and it seems like the school board association agrees.
Hmm.
Just like to point out, they did suggest that we had him as level 3 before, so like,
Well, if he's not held at all, why is he on there at all? If he's in, what's the difference between level 3 and level 4? So, is he asking to be removed completely?
he is saying that he has no authority, and the school board association is recommending that we remove him.
Oh,
Well. Okay.
Yeah.
I just know how helpful that resource has been a number of times in the past, and so. To not have that person in a supportive role is a very substantial change in the way in which rural schools interact with the county superintendent. It's a major move. I don't quite understand it, but it makes me laugh.
And when we initially had the county superintendent as level 3, the county superintendent was Jack.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was very.
I talk to Jack on sometimes a daily basis. And that was
Very comfortable if the board wants to table this and I can make phone calls. It's not a problem, whatever we feels best for the school.
I guess, I mean, maybe it makes perfect sense and there's something I'm missing, you know, just as far as what his statutes are and what's changed in other places, maybe it does make perfect sense. And that he really doesn't have any type of statutory responsibility or duty or ability to engage. But I'd like to understand it better, I guess, before I vote on it. That's why. No,
I'd like to know what the other rural schools have in their policy. We still aren't cares or still one off.
That's easy. You can go on to NTSBA, their website, and go to district policies and everything on there you can look at too, but I'll follow up on them.
I mean, it sort of begs the question to me, then why do we have a county superintendent?
Right.
Well, to be honest, other counties are phasing them out.
Okay,
So we've got ours, but not to the capacity the others do.
okay,
So,
because I mean, I sort of thought we were paying them to be in the support to us. So if we're not receiving the support role, it begs the question.
I know in conversations, every conversation is prefaced with, I cannot offer you any advice. Here's what my opinion is. I don't know if that makes a difference in what you're thinking, but society, it is a little strange.
Yeah, it's different.
Mhm.
It's a major culture shift. Which at the same time, we don't want a superintendent telling us what to do. Exactly, that's the way that's what Jack did for decades. I mean, Jack was great,
He was very supportive.
very supportive, and very helpful, very informed, had a lot of history. Had a lot of context in MTSBA, it's great.
So are we gonna table this for clarification?
If I could get a motion to table the required first reading of policy 17.
I'll make it.
Yeah. I think we are at page 53. 53 now. This one.
We went back.
I think we went backwards. Okay, so we are on page 53 of your board packet for policy 32.
That's confusing. That's okay, I'm not.
So this is an easy one. So it had an actual person's name in there. And with turnover or anything like that, we just put a title in there. So it wasn't highlighted, just like you'll see.
Yeah, so the policy committee is just asking if where it says title, if we would be comfortable with listing current administrator.
Hmm. Makes sense.
Any questions on that? If I could get a motion to accept the first reading of policy 3210.
Make a motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Out of district student attendance agreement, second reading.
So this is the form that we tweaked to add in, first of all, the bottom stamp, date, time received, notice of consideration, board meeting date, and then on the top about when we will accept the other district agreements. And then basically I call it the receipt page as the third page, because there's a front and back to this one.
Any questions on the out of district attendance agreement?
When we give it out, is it crooked like it was on our?
No.
Okay, I
It's
didn't
my
think so.
scanner.
That's fine, yeah. I was gonna say, if it is,
Well, we did, this packet was so large, I had to split it up and it got kind of,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
yeah,
I had to do it in 2 sections, so
Seriously.
it wasn't used to this load.
So the receipt letter, that's like signed by you or Judy and then given to them?
Yes.
So that they have, okay.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll fill out what's needed to the copy, hand it to them right away, so because we have to maintain records for us.
Yeah,
And then they're notified, when they'll be accepted or denied. So. This is a honestly true headache for every district in the state. Every meeting you go to, it's talked about, they're having workshops on it. Matter of fact, there's a workshop.
set that out.
I encourage you to look at it and see what all it entails, because it's huge. So.
I can get a motion to accept the second reading of the out of district attendance agreement.
I will make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? Okay, and breathe. Items listed first is YBGR. Board members, as part of our updated contract with YBGR, we have asked them to give us a quarterly update. More so that the board can learn about the program, because we didn't know as much about it as we thought we did. So that's why, the YBGR team is here. You go.
So I'm not super, we could just put something tiny together, so if you guys want more information, just ask. Whatever. We're serving 18 youth within 14 different families. We have 4 referrals from the school right now. A little full with 18 youth, so those referrals are just kind of set aside for the moment until we have more room. We did discharge 1 youth for successfully completing our program in October. Many of our youth and families are on track within our current treatment goals and the parameters. The goals and the treatment needs, they might need to be revised based on situations in the moment, and they're updated and revised over a treatment period, which is 90 days. Family therapy is being done as needed with Ashley. Ashley, our new school therapist, here with us today. And she's working on building rapport with her clients and families right now. And she just got back from 2 days job shadowing down in Missoula, and is also gonna job shadow our school therapist that we have through YBGR at West Valley as well, just to see how we can improve our services that we're providing here on Pilot School.
How many kiddos did you say you have on referral waiting? Four.
Were there any questions for YG?
Stay at 18 kids.
Not necessarily, it just really does, they're constantly staffing, with Linda or I about caseload, you know, some kids are higher need than others. So there might be a kid who just maybe needs to see Ashley for therapy once or twice a month. And there's other kids that need to be seen, you know, multiple times a week, so, it just depends on the needs of the kids on the local hours.
And there are minimums for
Sometimes, yes.
When the kiddos are on the waiting list, are they evaluated then? So that we know, like, we need 10 hours a month available for them, or are they evaluated when there becomes time available?
I'm gonna wait till later for that one.
So when they receive a referral, I lean on Ashley and Chastity's expertise because they know the kids. They'll staff with me, we kind of go through the caseload, we look at the problems being presented, and we kind of work together in deciding how high the risk the youth is and how much time it's gonna need to be working with the youth. And then we decide if is this something they can take on, because we don't want to have the youth struggling even more and needing time, or is this somebody we need to refer out to another service?
Also, to answer your question, you don't leave them just out there with potentially a mental health crisis.
No.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
To somebody who really just needs maybe.
sure.
Oh, you just consolidated or did purchase or.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we merged with Youth Dynamics, so YBGR has their own new office space in Kalispell and 4 new staff, 5 new staff in Kalispell and a staff in Polson, and which is great because we're able to offer, you know, more services, so.
Thank you so much for being here. We totally understand if you want to go. There's no.
We are gonna excuse ourselves if that's okay. Okay.
Thanks, thanks.
Anything?
We're gonna move on to our information items. We Title I grant funds in private schools. I believe now we're on page 63 of your board pack.
So I was reached out, or private school contacted, Iowa School wanting to know how they could get title funds, part of, Iowa's federal funds. And apparently in the past, what had happened was, Kalispell District would pool rural schools, federal funds, and then, anybody in a private school has the right to access that district's title funds. We've never been requested by District 5 to give them any title funds. But I did have a private school saying they wanted to participate and they wanted to know how to tap into our title funds. Oh, opened up a kind of a can of worms. I got hold of OPI and asked how we go about doing this, and he said, there's a form that they have to fill out, and then you have to figure out per pupil entitlement, what they're entitled to. We are a title-wide school. So we take Title I only funds, divided by how many kiddos we have, and that's what that family is entitled to, for title. And so I contacted them and said, with the advice of OPI, I contacted this private school and said, this child is entitled to, it's like $300, $337. And what we can do to offer this child services is pay transportation for that child to come to Kyla School during school hours and receive title. And I have not heard back from those parents. And it's been, I don't have any titles, so I don't think
What's the name? Times-
it's
Where is
St. Matt's. St. Matt's.
Okay,
So we have a Kyla district student going to St. Mary's.
I see, I thought it was private school to start.
And so,
But I'll get back to that one. Anybody that is homeschooled
That's my
also
next question.
is also considered a private school. So, and, what we have to do, and we do it every year, is we get a list of the homeschoolers. We send out, are you interested in these title, grants? If you say no, then you will not get any more requests in the future. You will have to approach the school. So that way we don't keep sending out year after year and keep getting no, no, no. So if they want to change their mind, they need to contact the school. And if the people do choose to participate, which I've never had one do all my years here, then it would be the same thing. That's what they're entitled to. We pay transportation for them to go to school and get title services. So you just need to be aware that private schools are allowed to tap into federal funds that are go to public schools.
And what all falls under title? I mean, I think I know, but just so clear.
Well, title has 5 different categories, Title I, Title IIA, Title IV. School-wide, what we do is we combine all the titles into what's called school-wide.
Yeah.
And that's how we fund our program. So when they want to request part of title programs, they don't get the full lump. They only get Title I ACOG, which was, this year was 67,000, which funds our title program, the lump does. So, and title, it would just be, it's not special ed services, but it might be a kid that needs just a little bit of extra help.
Yeah, that's,
So,
but that's what they would receive if they were to come.
that's,
Okay.
Should be 30 minutes of reading and or math intervention.
Okay,
and we don't just give them the $337 to the private school for them to provide the title program for them there.
nope,
They
they have
literally
to
have
have
to
a program
right here.
and they have to come here to participate in it.
So we pay the family
Correct.
a lump sum, or do we calculate the transportation like we calculate transportation for every other
Yes, just
student?
like, yeah, it would be for days, served here.
And not from their private school, but from their in-district home.
Correct.
So if they're within, if they're not outside of the, what is it, 3 miles or 2 miles that we pay, then they don't get paid anything, correct?
but they would get the service.
Right, they would just get the service, but
No,
not,
they would still get, they would get transportation based on how many miles. If they only live a mile away, they're still entitled to that 1 mile.
but we don't pay our other families.
No, we don't pay them out of title money. We pay them out of
Transportation.
transportation.
But we don't pay families, if you live a mile away, we don't pay a family for
We
transportation.
cannot deny a student, sorry, you only live a mile away, you're not getting any federal funds. We
No, I
can't.
understand that. No, why would we pay them, why would we pay them travel money if they're less than 3 miles away from the school to come to the school for the title?
We don't.
Oh,
pay our-
I see what you're saying. I see
Yeah,
what you're saying. No, I mean, if they want title services, they are more than welcome to come here and get title services.
Right.
Get
but
services.
I guess what I'm asking, I don't think so if they're less than 3 miles away, we don't pay any family transportation, but for them, we have to.
Well, title falls under a whole different regulation. Transportation has its own set of rules. It says on everything over 3 miles. Transportation for regular transportation is a whole different game than title funds. That's just like, I'm trying to think how else we can.
I also
So
think
this
she's
is-
saying like we have.
So this says we're willing to pay $337 to transport your child to Kyla.
Correct.
So I guess what I'm trying to ask is, we're having to pay to transport them, even though we don't pay families
Correct.
that live less than 3 miles to transport.
Federal funds have their own set of rules.
Sense to say that it goes to the wage of the, like, back to wages for the title teacher.
You've got to be careful. The OPI's opinion was use it as transportation. Because that person's already working in their scope.
Sure.
Would that student take a spot of one of our other title students?
We'd have to include them. Because they are a district resident.
It's okay to.
It does make sense, it just seems,
Contradictory to what we do, because we have our transportation.
Yeah.
Transportation state money and this is federal money and
Yeah.
the rule, the overlapping.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Who determines if that child actually needs title services?
They have to provide IEP, what is it, they actually sent one. And then that, was reviewed by our title coordinator, and she said, yes, they do qualify based off of these scores. No, it's all, everything's verified.
And wouldn't they be traveling from their school to us if it's during the school day, so wouldn't that be your mileage?
No, it'd be from their house.
That's from the house?
Yeah, because who's to say when they were gonna stop in and get those services? They could go to school first, they could stop here first. So it's variable. But like I said, in 28 years, we've never had one.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
We also don't have to offer an alternate time, so if this student's a second grader and we offer a second grade title at this time, we can offer them that time.
That's
slot.
it.
We don't have to accommodate.
And it's always been back, we just didn't realize it with the other private schools because we've never had to deal with it.
No.
So,
I guess maybe. The private school no offer. Well, thanks.
I don't think private schools have to, no, you don't have to offer a title at private schools.
No.
What about verifying district on those?
oh, that's done too. Any students anymore, address is gonna have to be verified, the tuition is with everything, so.
Yeah. It is for sure, we have to provide the title to them at our school. It's not that we give them we don't just give them the $333.7 to the school for them to provide it.
No, we do not give it to the school. I clarified that with OPI.
Because that seems like an easier solution, like if they were looking for those funds, it almost seems like that they were thinking that they would just be entitled to the funds, but not have to send the child here for them. Like they would hire a tutor for that kiddo at the school to meet their needs versus. So
Yes,
they
said you need a parent transportation.
So the other,
Maybe that's
I
why.
guess going down a rabbit hole on this, at what point do you pay the transportation? Because if they say I'm interested, we write them a check for $337 and they never show up.
Well, probably at the end of the school year.
Oh,
Maybe I
okay.
can put that into it. Otherwise, or I could pay monthly. You showed up 2 times this month, I'll pay you for 2 trips.
Okay,
So,
yeah. Got it.
That's a quirky one.
Yeah.
Just never show.
Looks like there's some follow-up discussion of a scholarship application.
yeah, so I got confirmation from the Career Center that our applications will now be yearly, that they will be available. Because they weren't available, didn't advertise them last year. So I made sure I hit counselors, Career Center, everybody to make sure that it is on there. So I did get confirmation.
The coaching application process.
So Mary and I met about this a couple times and she can't be here tonight because of the game. So she has asked if we could put this on the next agenda as well, but we have updated our website to make our coaching positions more prevalent and you can see them. And then also make it easier to get to the actual application as well. But Mary would also like to address this again next one. So,
It's not action, it's just information. Maybe everything.
Was there a discussion on the, after the follow-up from the gal, I'm sorry, my mind is trying to blank but athletic director coaching? Was there?
oh, yes, she met with the athletic directors as a whole right after that. And it's kind of what was said in the last meeting too about it's just done out of necessity more than anything. Mary would like to have more separation between that, but in the past we've just done it out of necessity.
We have a reader board now, so we'll be able to advertise it.
That was great.
But several times I'm like, there's cock down. Oh.
Hey guys, flashing, slow down, slow down.
Especially like the first 2 weeks.
But I'm afraid that's gonna shoot it. You know,
Oh.
it's gonna make them mad if you tell them what to do.
We get an insurance, I love how we.
I thought this conversation had about the contract though, regarding preference of who gets to be, whether, I know we were talking about negotiations too, but the negotiations of if a teacher has first choice, but they don't have experience or knowledge of the sport, then we can go to outside. There was talk about that being changed in the language. Is that in negotiations or is that in our contract?
That, I researched that and it was just past practice. It is nowhere in the CBA and I thought it was.
Okay,
So, yeah, it's just past practice. So,
past practice, but it's not saying that the teachers get it first.
nope, it doesn't know where in the business center.
Okay.
So this will be on the December agenda? Yes, in going.
Okay, we're gonna move on to follow-up discussion item number 3, Maverick Bench, Mavericks. I think it should probably say Mavericks Bench.
So it's been painted and we have the emblem on the back as well. I've heard nothing else about it, but have you?
The buddy bench is back, that's all.
Yes, it's, they actually had a lot of good feedback, lots of people happy to see it.
Any feedback from students or?
No.
Oh,
It's always been the buddy bench. It never changed from being the buddy bench, so all the kids have always used it that way, so.
My daughter thought it was funny that it was pink, so. She's like, oh, it's red now. She thought enough to make the comment.
We're gonna move on to follow-up discussion item number 4, combining rural schools update.
So we had another meeting with Smith Valley, Marion and Kyla. At this time, there's no real future action with that committee. There's no future committee meeting set. And the goal is just to find ways that we can work together more, like whether it be transportation for field trips or a guest speaker or something like that. That's the goal for now.
There was they had a speaker via computer that was very informative. He had amazing information about just the difficulties, the loops that you would have to go through, and what, it was just very eye-opening to the people that were there. And what the group really are wanting to focus now are multi-district agreements. You know, let's start getting together for this, let's do an agreement maybe for this, or start out small and start building up. But yeah, it was really good.
Just outlining the hurdles.
Oh, big time.
It was a hurdle within a hurdle within.
Just bureaucratic stuff.
A lot of it, yeah.
You have to combine debt and a district agreement with savings, that would also get split between all 3 districts. So just things that we want to consider before we would continue down that road.
Yeah.
It was also apparent watching the 3 schools just have a meeting that we're not there yet personality wise. So maybe entering into multi-district agreements would be a productive way to build relationships before we attempt to even push the boulder up the hill.
One board has had a change in people on their board, and it really changed the dynamic to moving forward with that versus not moving.
A fair assessment, ma'am.
I wasn't at
You
this
went
one.
to the previous.
I was at the previous one, I would strongly agree with that. So multi-district agreements, is that where if we were to need a math teacher and they need a math teacher and we shared a math teacher? Are we talking about that type of agreements or just field trips?
No, it'd be more like,
Like we had that guy Superman, whose name
Yes,
is, and
yes.
that's where it is. And he also lived in Marion, and they paid the full amount for him. He came to us for cheaper because we were the second one on his agenda. And so how could we combine that and make it?
so, yeah, it'd be like, assemblies, you know, let's all pull together for our assemblies. Let's pull together for, if it ever happened, for sports, maybe for soccer team. Curriculum, things like that. But just to split a teacher, we've done that actually in the past with Smith Valley. And we never needed, they do their own contract, we do our own contract. And it was just the way it was split.
Let's keep at it. Make so many roadblocks.
Timing, I think, because we don't realize that we are own district paper. So when you talk about like sharing it, where we. You're like too young. Yeah, that discussion is unique.
In Highland
I
District,
think you need to be along the cost savings.
But on the flip side, I guess if you're sitting here and we're constantly needing resistance with the third school. If there are two schools that are ready and able, and it makes sense because you're driving by our school from their school.
It was at Smith Valley that was more resistant.
Yeah.
So then just, maybe you don't need all three school districts, fine.
yeah, and Kyla's unique, Kyla School District, we go into two different counties, so you're dealing with two different,
I remember.
That's just one more.
that was one of the, yeah.
Was the gentleman that gave the talk, the person that the Marion, superintendent knew that actually
Mhm.
went through this?
Yeah.
You're allowed, tripping in red button, when that wasn't. Is that recorded though? I think Smith Valley recorded it.
It's all.
And I really encourage you to look at it and listen to it, because, I mean, he was so knowledgeable.
He did also explain a lot of the difference in dynamics between what was being talked about here versus with him, it was two schools that were very close together. Like, I wanna say within a couple blocks, he said, and they weren't totally different districts or something. It was just a high school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what's,
it wasn't
the situation?
quite as big of a process as what we do here, and he did mention that several times about how this would be a big project.
Which we can definitely do. At no point in that meeting was he saying don't do it, but
Yeah.
it was just obvious that maybe it's not that agreements would be a good start.
And I mean, I'm sure it's not uniform, but what I've heard from the public is that they are universally in support of it. I mean, is that what everybody else has experienced?
That's what I have from the people to the west,
Uh,
not the,
yeah.
And I think we have to show cost savings.
Mhm.
Scoring I wish I could remember the gentleman's name, but it seemed like there was discussion about keeping the three campuses open in previous meetings.
That was brought up by Smith Valley, or at one point to maybe. Or keep two campuses and do like an elementary and a middle school, but then everyone's like, no, because we still, we don't have one school that's big enough for all of just the elementary kids or all of just the. So you
Yeah,
know,
it's still
we
kids at facility.
are buying and we just.
So his big thing was like, you need to be able to figure out the benefits of it if you're going to pursue it and try to talk to your community about it.
We'll come back up when we get our first couple of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Or when.
Well, that's when that knows about.
That,
Yeah.
Wait, where's it on?
at Kelly Road,
That's finally happening next year.
it's supposed to be next year now,
What is it?
the roundabout.
Oh, yeah, that's been.
Yeah.
Oh, it all got, I mean, it all got approved. It was just a 5-year out project and this is my 4th year.
We do have to stay on.
Yeah.
We could move on to the 25-26 calendar.
So I just brought up to the board that there's a couple of school districts nearby that are looking at a 4-day school week annual senior board packet. The options that were put forth by another school district nearby, they pulled their community and had a lot of community interest in that. I don't know if we've faced the same, and then since then, also now Big Fork has come in and said that they are interested in at least discussing that with their community. They're kind of at the same place that West Valley is, with not really knowing, what their community was saying yet, but, West Valley does know that their community was pretty in favor. They presented 3 different calendars. One was all Mondays off, one was all Fridays off. Monday was not well liked at all. I want to say they told me like 15% said it would be okay. Yeah, but they had a pretty strong standing for those Fridays off, so I just presented those options to you. This would be there would be a lot of change to go along with switching to a 4-day school week. Oh, no, we also have a list, no edge. Of just things that would have to be updated or in consideration if we went to a 4-day school week, so, I can share that with you as well, just all the different things that we would have to consider. Yes, there would be a savings in transportation, but then other things there wouldn't be, and then our parents would be losing hours. On that 5th day, we would obviously make up for a small portion of that on the other days, because our school year, we still have that same hour requirement set forth by the state, so our days would have to be a little bit longer, if we still want our summer to be similar.
And Bigfoot did do a survey, they're finishing compiling the information, so I can send it to you if you guys want to read it.
I have the printed version too that I can share and scan.
I think it'd be worth putting out to the community for a survey, for sure. I personally.
I'd like to see where.
And the paper.
Do you think
Marvin,
this is?
yeah.
I am
Yeah.
favorite.
There's, oh, for sure, this has.
So
That's nothing but.
you're gonna need a committee to start talking about all this and then bring it to the board and the committee decide what they do.
And we are just gonna have to strongly consider the study that just came out that says that there's lots of learning loss with 4-day studies, and MSU just did it in the state of Montana, and that it's actually not as beneficial. So I think we need to make sure that when we're presenting the information to the public, that we're getting all of the information, not just the information we want them to hear.
Yeah, for the middle schoolers, you do lose a night of homework. The same approaching schools, moderately big deal. Yeah.
A lot of our parents work 5 days a week, and they won't have after-school program 1 day a week. I mean, there's so many things to consider.
And it didn't really seem like it was cost savings in that study that I read from MSU when you were talking about it, actually cost some districts more. So I think that it's really important that we.
Just really look at it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, but I know.
We did, because we talked about passing it years ago, but always just kind of getting it on the back burner. Now that the study came out, it was kind of eye-opening.
The administrators I've talked to also said that their focus was on teacher retention, as they're looking at that 4-day school week. Because there are several larger districts this year have, more non-licensed staff than they've ever had before, because they can't find people to hire, and then the people who they are hiring are phasing out quickly. So their focus was more on teacher retention.
We have a calendar committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's take it to them. Okay. Principals report, item number 1, parent teacher conference review.
Yep, so we have parent teacher conferences on November 1st. I think the biggest thing I hear as far as feedback is let's make sure that that is always a day off, the day after Halloween. So, I think there were a lot of parents that did that. I think they went well. I said in a couple, but overall they went well. Then social studies curriculum, so Mary, Matt and I looked at a middle school social studies curriculum. Well, that was middle and high school social studies curriculum. However, we're still kind of in that spot of feeling like they're all a little bit the same. So I reached out to Savvis, which is what we already have purchased, and said, Matt said, well, what if we just tell them we're leaving them and we're not going to use their services anymore because their PD is so expensive, because it was going to cost us $3,000 to get a professional development for social studies. So I said, oh, let's try it. So I reached out and said, hey, we're looking at other options because we don't know what all is available here and we can't afford the professional development. And voila, they said, hey, I think we can help you out. And so we have a professional development this Friday for free. They did say that it wouldn't be the full scope of what they cover, but there would be opportunities for question and answer. And then we could invite all of our staff and teachers. So, which also on the professional development, they won't allow you to do. So you have to divide your 6-8 team and your K5 team. And they don't address them all at once. So that will happen this Friday. And then Matt is using National History Day too for some resources. And so we're just kind of continuing that process, picking up some social studies books, like just nonfiction books that you would find at a bookstore, and how we can implement those into the curriculum as well. Updated 504 manual, there's not many changes to this at all. It's just that the table of contents was off on that, and then also the administrator information. And then we, are just took there's a lot of forms at the end, and those are all now, tech user friendly, so that we can just have them electronically. Overall, we can't make a lot of changes to a 504 manual. Formal observations, over halfway done with those. They're going well. I have a couple more, and then, all the staff that just have one this year will be done before Christmas. And then the ones that have two, I'll have one of those done before Christmas, and then I'll schedule one after the holidays as well. And then facilities updates, we've had an issue with this door out here, no, but I just said it says, please use other doors not latching right, unless you just slam it shut, otherwise it just stays unlocked all day. So, we're working on that, and then I actually need to go check the basement today, because it's rained a lot, and we haven't had too much rain recently, so we've been good in the basement, but I'm a little worried today that maybe we won't be. And then the poster got put up in the gym as well, so now we have a couple of kind of grads that are on the wall in there. And then, our reader board got put up, which is a big deal. That took us forever to get all the technical parts worked out. But it's, the program to use is very user friendly. It's like creating a PowerPoint basically. So it's very easy to use.
And you put together new flashing hands in there.
Yeah. I didn't even see that, but that's pretty interesting. I have to meet with them one more time this week about the reader board. There were just a few things after they turned it on that they wanted to go over with me, and one of those is the timing. So right now it's on all the time, I think. And so we'll have it on a timer so that it goes off at night.
How late at night, do you know?
No, I haven't really thought, well, I thought that there was a discussion about that before, but
Right after dinner.
maybe.
I think it should be on for a while.
I think so too. I think we should leave it on until something.
So because
Or-
I've got the most phone calls about the reader board that I've gotten
Oh, right.
No, not already, but
Last time.
when we talked about it, people particularly on the other side of Smith Lake don't want to look at the reader board over here.
Well, that was because though, when Mr. Christie did that, he had the reader board
Wasn't
up
it
on
on
the
the
building and it literally went
Yeah.
across.
Yeah.
So this one's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different.
Anyway,
I'm already hearing,
Yeah,
I'm already hearing very mixed reviews.
really?
Well, there's a lot of people that change. There's a lot of people who don't really care about it. There's a lot of people who did move to Kyle to see lights. You know, so that's just what's out there.
Yeah.
I think it's great entertainment for our car line, but I mean,
I think it's gonna be a really good tool,
Yeah.
communication tool. I think we need to use it in accordance with our community. And we don't need to be the loudest, brightest thing in the community. We need to be seen and heard, and visible.
Does it have a nice thing where it can still be on or it's like?
Yeah.
I can ask them that. I don't remember seeing anything on that.
They've got really raised lights on right there, street lights, and,
That Kelly Ray is not.
yeah, they don't have a
No,
loud
those
light.
extra lights, you can approach it.
Yes.
Okay, that's how.
So. It didn't turn on till the very end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like.
Do we have any more facilities?
No.
Do we need unsolved project with you?
So I went to Ansel down in Missoula for 3 days. Really good. A lot of trustees, a lot of administrators. I would really encourage you next year to go. I provided a link with all kinds of training, like everything from, right now they're working on a school or a statewide school insurance, health insurance plan. And they are really progressing with that. They want to have it implemented within a year and a half or so. To IFA trainings, to board trainings. I really, if you have time, click on those links and they were all recorded live, so it's a lot of back and forth question answers. Things about board meetings, you know, I mean, just all kinds of things. I just encourage you to look at them. And go next year.
Okay, our December regularly scheduled board meeting would be December 11th at 3:30 in the afternoon. That works for everybody?
I may not. I'm teaching a class and if the students pass, then I will be able to, at that time, if I have to retest people then.
Well, you can teach.
It's a combinable lesson, so let's hope we pass.
I will be. I will want.
Sounds like it's in your control to get here.
All.
I will second. All in favor?